That's why I insisted on the enormous, overwhelming implants that we gave to David, butt implants.
And also why you should see it in 3D.
I'm world-renowned filmmaker James Gunn.
I play Superman in the Superman movie, David Corenswet.
And I am the evil Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult.
I'm Lois Lane.
We're the cast and director of Superman, and we're here to play with some puppies.
We've been doing this for a while now. We've been
Playing
on
with
this tour.
puppies?
No, well, we do play with puppies a lot, but now we get to do something we actually enjoy.
Yeah.
Bring the puppies! Let's
the
go! Oh my God! Come here, buddies! Come here!
Come here!
Hey, come here, guys! Oh, come here! What are you doing? Hi, buddy. I got the crazy.
Wait.
There's a toy. Is this your toy? Their name's on their collar, so let's see. This is 3846. That's a terrible name for a dog.
This is Kendra Saunders?
Kendra, that's the hot girl's name.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, it's Guy Gardner.
Oh, wait, oh, is it over here?
This is Superman.
Oh, Lois?
Trade
This
me.
is Lois, okay.
Wait, no, I
Oh,
like her though.
I like her too. Everyone who knows me knows that I love dogs and animals, definitely more than people. I cried one day with David.
It was a very mean thing of me to say. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, he said I was old and ugly. No, we had this back and forth on set. We're working on the scene where he's giving this speech, and it was just this really fulfilling moment. We were arguing, but in the way David and I argue all the time, like there's never any ego or anger in the argument. We're just trying to come to the best solution. Eventually, he did exactly what I wanted, and I cried from relief because it was the first time he ever admitted that he was wrong.
Oh, bye. Guy Gardner would.
He would be the one that's the troublemaker.
One of my favorite moments was seeing David in the Superman suit for the first time
yeah.
at the camera tests, and I was like, oh wow, that's Superman.
We had some great ones, obviously, but I had a moment with Eddie. I don't know if you saw this happen. They were turning that thing that's used for VFX, the one that's a mirror on one side.
The ball?
The ball. The mirror side faced me and Eddie gasped and grabbed me by the arm, and I thought something went wrong, and he turned to me and he was like, I just saw us. And he got really emotional. Sometimes days can be long and there's so many technical elements, especially in a movie like this.
Yeah.
But you have moments like that where suddenly, I think for Eddie, he was like, I just saw myself the way that kids will see me in this movie, and it was really moving.
The other time I cried was when you guys kissed and were hanging up, because I just thought of all the times I went to see a movie with these like magical moments where you're transported out of your life for a second, and in that moment I saw that was what, you know, we were creating that moment for kids today and people, and it was really touching. Yeah. I mean, first of all, it's a giant Easter egg. So the scene where the Justice Gang is in the Hall of Justice. So the Hall of Justice in the comics is based on the train station in Cincinnati. So we actually went to that train station in Cincinnati and shot the Hall of Justice. That's a cool Easter egg by itself. But within that building, in reality, there's this huge mural on the wall with the history of Cincinnati, with the, you know, farmers and industrialists and all the people that have built the city. And we replaced that with a mural of the metahumans that have existed in the DCU over the years.
One Easter egg that I love is that in the Daily Planet, we have the grandsons of Jerry Siegel as two reporters in there. They were on set quite a lot, and we had some great conversations with them. They actually took me to the house that their grandfather grew up in.
Yeah.
And I saw the basement where he drew the first Superman comic in 1936 or whatever.
Krypto, of course, is a CGI dog, and when Rachel is supposed to interact with the dog, it looks like she's strangling a duck.
All I can hear is James. James on the God mic going, no, Rachel, no, you put your hands on the dog again. And this photo that you shared on social media of David, like in the background, is David wishing I had gone to Juilliard as well.
He's so fed up.
For the sequel, should we be lucky enough, I'm gonna be the best mime you've ever seen.
There's a great t-shirt that sort of floats around in the film industry that says, I'm a producer, that's my superpower. And I think if my dog had a superpower in the DC universe, he would be a producer on this film.
He was a producer.
Yeah,
We should
was.
have given him a credit because
Co-producer.
Well, you were going to, and then he started giving notes, and you sort of got territorial.
he did give a lot of notes.
Yeah.
Ira was always like, more
can't
pets.
More pets,
More treats.
20% more squirrels, which you did.
More, yeah,
you
20
did.
more squirrels.
You
yeah.
were in agreement
I
on that
did.
one.
I
Yeah.
added a squirrel into the movie.
Guy Gardner would pee on
Guy,
himself.
that's so Guy Gardner to pee in the middle of the set.
Irv, Mel,
Irv 1, Irv 2, Irv 3, and Irv
Joseph.
4.
my aunt and uncle in New Orleans rescue cats off of the street, and they're so original with names. They had 3 orange tabbies. They were named OC1, OC2, and OC3. Orange Cat 1, Orange Cat 2, and Orange Cat 3. So that's probably what I would come up with.
Really?
Call them Orange Cat.
1, 2, and 3.
One, two, and
I would name this one Jennifer Jr. after my wife.
Aww.
Yeah, because it's the closest we'd ever come to having a child.
Pass on the legacy.
3 of us dogs love, and one of us is a little suspect.
Dogs know,
That checks
right?
out.
They know.
Yeah, yeah.
They know. Yeah, dogs know.
They know what's in your soul. Lex, Lois, and Superman have a threesome in our movie.
Oh my God.
Just kidding. One of the things I appreciate about James's interpretation of Lois is that James balances the journalistic side of her with the side of her that you often see in the relationship with Superman. Yeah, you see them have this kind of epic love story that we know from the comics, but you also really get to see her as the intrepid journalist who throws herself into the center of the action. She is.
She is legendary. How comfortable was your suit, David?
It grew to be comfortable. There is no zipper to pee. We tried putting a zipper in, and especially with the trunks, we thought for sure we were going to be able to hide a zipper. Yes.
I loved in the suits the little briefcases, the cooling briefcases that
Oh,
you guys
yes.
had, where they would
Oh,
literally
yeah.
get plugged in
Yeah.
to these little briefcases, and so all the guys in suits would be walking around
Holding
with tiny
a-
briefcases
Or a guy
that would.
after the carrying a briefcase.
Yeah,
coming
exactly.
after
Come
them.
in
Yeah.
and just plug them in.
It's a vest that has tubing running through it and a plug at the end, and you plug it in to run cold water through it on the very hot days, especially outdoors in Cleveland.
He had wearing all leather costume and had to do a fight scene in 95-degree Cleveland weather in the middle, of the summer, and it was a total nightmare shooting that, and he was in hell, but he was a trooper and he never complained.
I did have a lot of pockets. I like the idea that Lois would have everything she needs on her body at any given time. Yeah, we talked about pockets and all the
Pockets.
costumes.
I remember you asking for pockets.
Nick, what were your costume secrets?
I requested that David didn't have any zippers on his suit. They could have put them in very easily. But I just wanted to make him uncomfortable.
I requested that Nick and Rachel not have any f***ing lifts in their shoes. My boots
Took
were
all
flat
mine
to the
away.
ground.
Superman has a huge cat. Did you guys do anything fun behind the scenes?
That's why I
Superman.
insisted on the enormous, overwhelming implants that we gave to David, butt implants.
And also why you should see it in 3D.
Nick and I got to go on an amazing snowmobile excursion in Norway, in Svalbard. We jetted out across the fjords and the glaciers. That was fun.
I remember you recreating scenes from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, it was very much like being on Hoth. And then a couple of our castmates fell off a cliff.
There are actually rules when you sign your contract that you're not supposed to do certain things like snowmobiling.
I think
And our producer and Gabby fell off a cliff.
this was all before we had started shooting, so I think we hadn't signed the contracts yet. We do have a group chat.
I'm not on it.
He's been-
I was never invited
He's been barred after
because
telling too many bad
it's
jokes.
mostly complaining about me.
It's called Superman Gang, I
It's
think?
called Superman Gang Even Beck.
Yes.
But the thing they tell me is that the famous thing about you is that you never respond to
Never.
texts,
I never respond to texts ever.
except for to me.
Well, yeah, but that's because you only text me once every 3 months.
Yeah. Well, when
And also I work for you, so
You have to.
You have to.
Olivia Newton-John, I lived in her house and I was so happy every night to sleep in the bed that, well, it wasn't the same bed, but it was the same bedroom that Olivia Newton-John slept in.
I was going to say Fred Durst as well. So.
Yeah.
Ginger
Fred
Rock.
Durst? My friend dated Fred Durst.
What?
Yeah.
A lot of the flying is pretty straightforward. You're just being yanked up by your underpants. But then a lot of the flying fighting sequences are happening upside down, and so we're connected. Multiple stunt actors playing the raptors and me. We're spinning and we're fighting each other and tumbling, and then we all kind of ended up a little bumped and bruised and like mildly concussed.
People are always surprised when they find out that almost all of the flying stuff is actually you.
Yeah.
I worked really hard at getting Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Didn't get it. But
I put a lot of effort into auditioning for Superman. And I'm probably going to audition for Wonder Woman next.
That one you've got in the bag.
Adam Warlock in Guardians 3. I think that was my first MCU audition.
I stole a Daily Planet mug from Metropolis. Oh, I'm so glad I got that off my chest.
I took a crystal from the Fortress of Solitude, and I took Lex's mug as well.
I actually had a crew member very kindly build me like a chunk of rock and crystal from the fortress, from the actual set that he wired with LEDs. So it's now my kid's nightlight is a big Fortress
That's
of
very
Solitude.
cool.
They wouldn't let me take a suit. I wanted to have a suit hanging in my closet, even though there were like 12 of them.
Thank you to the Best Friends Animal Society for bringing these adorable puppies for us to play with today. Oh, Superman has so much energy. To find out how you can be a superhero by adopting a dog or a cat from a shelter near you, visit bestfriends.org.
Thanks, BuzzFeed.
Check out Superman July 11th.
Just sit there and look pretty, will you?
It's better when we screw up.